And then there's 401ks, which I am not a fan of because all of the risk lies with the participant. And as we just saw with the craziness in the stock market, people lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if let's say you have $100,000 in your 401k.
Hmm.
One bad day could drop you down to $50,000 or $60,000, and that might be what you're supposed to live on for the rest of your life when you retire. So I am always and will always be a fan of a defined benefit pension, where people
Mm.
know for the rest of their life they will receive X amount.
So I just want to clarify. So
Yes.
for a 401k,
hmm
that money is not untouchable. It can be touched and used based off what the stock market happening in the stock market.
100%. So there are different kinds of 401ks. I'm certainly not an expert,
Hmm.
but generally what happens is you work for an employer and they have a 401k set up and they tell you you can contribute X amount of dollars, sometimes tax-free, into your 401k. Sometimes they will provide a match, but that money is invested in the stock market. So when the stock market does well, you might see your 401k jump up. Yay, it's a great day. When the stock market does not do well, you might see, and I say might because it depends on what you're invested in.
Hmm.
You might take a huge hit. So I just worry about people, and we don't do a great job in this country of taking care of our elders. And now we're worried that Social Security might be at risk. We know that. Well, I'll just say it, that
Go
the
ahead.
Republican Party
Hmm.
has wanted to privatize Social Security for many, many years. But that's our money. Every single one of us who has a job is paying into Social Security. So it's our money. And if we get a vote, our vote is don't touch our money and don't privatize it. And it's a very small amount that people receive when they retire. But if people lose that, people like my parents, they'll be in bad shape. I mean, honestly, we're not going to let anything happen to them,
Hmm.
but so many people count on that. So, yeah, we need to do a better job of taking care of our elders in this country.
Agreed. Agreed. And my assumption is, and I think maybe a lot of people also probably assume that 401k was kind of like a savings account,
Yes,
and that it was,
it
you know,
is.
but I don't think maybe people thought that their savings account can fluctuate. Usually it just
Yes,
kind of keeps building. And so I
yes.
think now people probably, I'm assuming a lot of people just got educated today on the 401k, right? And you mentioned that the Republicans want to privatize.
Social Security.
What does that mean? Can you elaborate a little bit on
So
what that
that would
means?
make Social Security a for-profit entity. I don't know all the details,
Hmm.
but it would mean that instead of us paying in like we do, and anybody can go on to Social Security and look up what they've paid in. Every few years, you should get in the mail something telling you approximately at age 60, 62, 65. Actually, I think it's 65, 70, 72. You retire, and what your amount would look like, your benefit would look like.
Hmm.
So you should get something like that. And they send it to you so you can check and make sure that all the years you've worked have actually been recorded. If your
Mm.
employer, things sometimes happen by accident, sometimes by design. So it's always good to look and see. But anybody can look it up. Go on Social Security and look up, you put in your Social Security number, and you can look up and find out what your amount will be when you retire. And you can also check and make sure all of your years that you've worked are included there. So privatizing it would make it a for-profit. So what I worry about, and I could be wrong, but they would be more like a 401k where they would try to, make more money or less money. There's nothing wrong with Social Security.
Hmm.
We could actually make it stronger and give Social Security recipients a higher benefit if we did one thing. Right now, when someone who's making a lot of money, they get to $147,000 a year, they stop contributing to Social Security. That's just the rule.
Okay.
So when you get to, let's say you make,
Wow.
yes, so you've got people making 200, 300, $400,000, and they're not contributing to Social Security anymore. Why not? We should raise that. And just when you work, whatever you're making, it doesn't matter. You just keep contributing into Social
Yeah.
Security. That would make it so strong. It would make it you'd have plenty of money in there, be well funded. We could give our seniors a raise. We wouldn't have to worry about anything. But I just don't think people have ever had the political will to raise it because people would call it a tax. But it's not a tax. It's something that all of us already pay
Mhm.
on every paycheck. until you hit 147,000, and then they no longer take that SSI deduction.
Wow. So the working class are paying for the Social Security.
Yes, 100%.
And that would also, because I remember even years ago, they would say, hey, Social Security is going to be empty for your generation, for
Right,
like
yes.
Generation X or, I'm sorry, the millennials, right?
Yes.
The millennials won't have a retirement or Social Security, but it seems like what you're saying, that could alleviate that
100%.
problem.
Yes. Yes. And it
Wow.
just, and it's a federal issue. So when I was in the Senate, there was nothing statewide that we could do about it. It's a federal issue. And I just don't think people have had, for whatever reason, the political will to do it. And I don't know. To me, it's logical. Why would people not vote for that? You're already paying in, just keep paying in. And then we can make sure that we're taking care of our older folks our seniors who have worked their whole lives. They should have something that they can rely on. They want to eat when they're old. They want to maybe travel a little bit, go to a movie. What a concept.
Yeah, buy a new dress.
Buy a new dress, exactly, So to me, it's always seemed very logical, but it just hasn't happened.
In my opinion, Connie, I don't think many average citizens even knew about that.
I agree with you. I don't think they do either.